Okay, and welcome back, everybody. I know we haven't officially started the finals, but I'm here with Michael Pistone. We're about to get into the final confrontation of the San Diego Super Open. We have two really skilled players representing in the finals. The first one is kind of a surprise. We have Daniel Amor making the final confrontation. He ended up going
Eight and
uh,
two.
8-2 as our top ranked player. Uh, that's really impressive. He ended up playing Quiet Mining Colony and Angels of the Black Sun today and yesterday, and he did a lot of progress with it and everything. It was a really he did really well,
Yeah, he
but
really he really did. He really did. And I don't know how many majors he's been to. I know he's been a really great online player for a while.
mhm,
And someone that I actually know his real name. He's one of those people I know by screen name just because but you see him over and over again in Champ and the OCS and everything like that. And
yeah,
he's crushing it today. I think coming out party, said that in an earlier broadcast, Dan. So great for him.
yeah.
And then Drew's been here before. He's the top 7-3. I think he's playing Skywalker Saga, and I had the decks up a second ago.
Yeah, he's running Skywalker Saga today, and then for his dark side, he's going with Carbonate Chamber Testing.
There we
So,
go.
and what's interesting is they played both of their games earlier today. I believe Drew ended up winning with Carbonate Chamber over QMC, and Daniel won with Agents of Black Sun over the Skywalker Saga. So
Hmm.
definitely, it's going to be an interesting finals.
Yeah, so they know each other's decks. They've played before, and now we'll see kind of how it manifests in the finals. It's interesting. I thought QMC had a bit of an edge over CCT, so we'll see how that goes. I've seen some players do really, really well with that matchup. I think I've seen Joe Olson against Chris Werfs recently as the QMC player did really well. And then a while ago, what got me interested in the deck last year was I thought Bastion do really well with it against Joe. I think an Outrider Cup. So it'll be interesting to see that matchup. And I think Daniel's going to get to pick sides first. So every dip's going to matter here.
Yes, you are correct. Daniel is going to be able to pick the sides. So it really is going to be interesting. And the Skywalker Saga is a deck that I feel has a slight advantage, but at the same time, we just saw on our secondary stream, Daniel ended up winning that game. So, and then what people are saying in the chat that the CCT is slightly ahead of the QMC, but Daniel's playing the QMC really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. This is going to be an interesting finals. And then we just posted the final standings from the Swiss event of the tournament. The top eight were including Daniel Amor and Drew Lichtenstein. In third was Greg Shaw. Fourth, Phil Asen. Fifth, rounding out our 7 and 3s, was Dennis Reinhardt, followed by Carter Britton, Casey Annis, Mike Kessling, and Anthony Howard at ninth. And then Ryan Gilson bringing up the 6 and 4s. Going 5 and 5 were Brian Fred, Cal Aldred, Chris Werfs, Mike Turner, Ryan Searson, Matt Thornton, and JC Smith.
A
I don't know, but definitely that's going to be interesting.
lot of really talented players in this field. So great achievement for Daniel and Drew to get to this point with how tough that field was.
Agreed. And apparently, Daniel's father is on site. We don't know. I don't know if that's 100%, but he was earlier.
Hmm, that's cool. Hopefully, we'll get started here in a few minutes with both players. But and
So,
what has surprised you this weekend when you've been kind of watching these games and decks? Anything stand out to you?
um, Deck wise, it's interesting. Like QMC is definitely one of the top light side decks. It isn't necessarily the most easiest deck to play, but in the right hands, I feel like it is the right deck. It's interesting to see the variants of the Skywalker saga. We saw Luke and the Anakin variants of the deck. No Ray yet. I think the Ray is the unfortunate one on the sidelines right now, but hopefully we'll see some a little bit more help being sent to it soon. As for Dark Side, uh, CCT was definitely one of the top decks, if not the top deck from today. And then on top of that, Thrawn was very popular yesterday. We saw some good examples of Thrawn today. I know Cal had a really good deck with it. I like Cal's version because it included I've Lost R2, a card that we don't normally see.
It's been a
So,
while.
uh, and but that game was definitely highlighted by the comeback from Daniel. I mean, playing QMC, like Cal looked like he had the straight advantage, but Daniel was able to come back on it. Um, but besides that, like yesterday, we saw Ryan Jelson playing a very interesting matching ship with Maine's hidden base.
Hmm.
Brian Fred stuck around with his On the Verge of Greatness deck. That was a fun one to watch. Uh, had a few players bringing out Old Allies and I Want That Map. So the demise of Old Allies is not there yet. I know that Old Allies is still. It took a nice little hit with the tweak set and everything, but it's still out there. Like there's a reason why Mike Kessling went with Old Allies versus any of the other decks in the field.
Yeah, it
Uh,
seemed to me like a lot of players stuck with things that they knew. There was a ton of diversity in the decks. I don't think anyone knew what the meta was going to be, so people played things that they personally felt comfortable with or that they liked. And I think that might have been some of the deck switching today is people went to things that they liked or things, they didn't like what they played yesterday. And I'm not sure we still know what the top decks are
It's
coming out of
hour and
this,
15, right?
yeah. So Robbie, our man on the inside, is back. Robbie, what do you got for us, sir?
So we are about to start. They're shuffling, hopefully very well, because I had to sort it for the deck check. So
Okay.
give us a few minutes to shuffle, and we'll be getting started here shortly.
Okay, so the players are on the table. It looks like Daniel has decided to go with his Agents of Black Sun deck. That means that Drew is going to be starting with Skywalker Saga. That's the other thing. Like a lot of good players played Agents of Black Sun today. Like that was not that big of a surprise to me. Like Agents didn't really take a hit after the tweak set, uh, and Lightside Mains kind of did.
Yeah.
Like you don't see that uh, Yoda community like we did at Worlds. So it opened up the meta to agents again.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's like one of those decks that you don't want to see when your agents is the big immunity mains that are really tough to clear through. And in a field with a lot of QMCs and decks that aren't necessarily focused on that, Black Sun has more chance with the pilot to just kind of navigate to where they want to go without being disrupted as much. So, but this will be interesting because it is up against the main stack here today. So we'll see how the matchup goes. Looks like we have some new folks filtering the chat. Yep, this is the finals, and saw some commentary as well about the ten round format cut to top two. Yeah, I definitely thought this was a really good idea, and definitely a
Mm-hmm.
little bit different than what we've seen before, and maybe a little bit less of the teching for one specific opponent and just playing good games of cards.
Agreed. And from what the sounds of it, like a lot of people enjoyed the fact that yesterday was only 6 rounds. They got done at around 6:30, including after a lunch and everything. Today, everybody except for our final two are definitely they got into a good position. Like we're about to see the rest of the field go into playing the Throtos Cube Spectacular. So this is definitely has been an interesting tournament.
Absolutely.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the SOS yet, Justin. So once we get those, we'll let everybody know.
SOS was 123 for Drew and 120 for Shaw.
Wow.
Wow.
I
After
didn't look
10
past that.
rounds.
I just looked for the bubble. So
Yeah.
they'll get posted later.
Sounds good. So it looks like standard starts here from both players. The Quietly Observing for the Black Sun deck, with Shadows and I'm pretty sure Wipe there, and Best Star Pilot, and Walkling, and the Mother Effect.
Yes, your thought dwells on your mother, so that way Drew can get Anakin's lightsaber out of his deck. He can get it out of the lost pile if he ever loses it. But Drew with the white sleeves, Daniel with the Kylo Ren with lightsaber sleeves. So here we go. Our final confrontation. We have a handshake from between both players. Let's get into the action.
Here we go.
Again, we will have a new champion of the San Diego Super Open, and Daniel showing his hand. He starts with Shizor's Bounty. That's an interesting one. Like, he doesn't have to worry about grabbing it. Drew looks like he does have an Anakin in his hand. I don't know if it was the Jedi Knight or the Padawan Learner. We also saw Rey in there as well. So Drew getting out do or do not. Daniel getting out his grabber shield.
I saw a couple ships for Daniel in his opening hand, a blast door controls. The hand was very quick though. I didn't see all of it.
There's Mara Jade and Mithron Renudo. Drew getting out, playing too close for comfort. Or no, I'm sorry. Now this is pod racing. The too close for comfort is the underlying card. He will get the slave quarters, or I believe that's the Skywalker hut.
I think you're right, Dan.
Let's see. He starts with the slave quarters and he go and gets Skywalker hut.
Really good for him to get that opening Twix because that'll help him get the 3PO and everything going too.
Mm-hmm.
Not giving up any icons, big deal. So only activating 4 for Daniel on turn 1 here. I need to play this one pretty conservative, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Going down, I like the idea of getting out the Vigo, maybe getting out the Coruscant Shizor's Palace, but we'll see what he does. He goes and gets out the Imperial Square. Drew on the other side, as long as uh, Daniel doesn't give him any icons, he's getting
4, 5.
5 because you generate +1 with the Skywalker Saga epic event.
Yep.
There's the Vigo coming down, and there is the Shizor's Palace. So Drew's going to be getting 6 icons this turn. Daniel wasting no time though. There is the Shizor's Palace sewer.
Moves his guys over. We know that he has that Caesar's Bounty in his hand. He's going to activate 1 off the wipe.
So this is going to allow Drew to get 8 cards into his force pile. There's Secret Plans. Not a bad card just to get out. Daniel not playing the Fanfare Shield tells Drew that he has the Shizor's Bounty in his hand. Drew getting 7.
7, yep.
There's the hut. And just to double check on everybody, so for those who are questioning what a card is, the easiest way to check out a card and make sure what the game text on a card is to go to scomp.starwarsccg.org. Scomp Link is the best tool to see what kind of card that is out there. It's a really well designed tool. And then on top of that, if you are an Android user, you can always download the Comlink app and simply look on the cards on your phone.
An amazing app. I absolutely love it. I use it all the time. Got some action here. 3PO came down, and now Ray is going down to the sewer.
So Drew
Lead
going really quick there.
Yeah, Drew's scavenging with Ray. Maybe pulling a lightsaber now, the Anakin's lightsaber.
Looks like he is going to go get the lightsaber. I don't mind getting the lightsaber. That way you're putting on some damage onto Daniel. Daniel is flipped, so he can potentially... He's going to be able to do 1 point of damage to Drew next turn. We might see a battle plan from Drew come down. I'm not sure, but we'll see. That way, if you do play the battle plan, that would cost Daniel 3 force to drain for 1 on his next turn. And then we have Robbie Hendon, our man on the inside. He's watching as one of our active judges. And
oh, that's a good one.
Drew getting out the Coruscant Jedi Council Chamber, adding 3 more icons. That's always really good to get out turn 1.
Yeah, I wonder if that might be part of the reason Ray came down. I wonder if Ray scavenged for that. You know, that's a kind of thing you'd go for. 3PO.
I don't think Drew really checked with anything. So going down with Ray, though, it doesn't tell me that he really wanted to get the JCC out, but it did tell me that he wanted to get a specific card. Drew thinking about what he wants to do. He recirculates and will pass turn over to Daniel. So let's see if he can get that battle plan shield or not. And nothing of yet. Oh, thank you, Justin. Yeah, he starts with 4 3PO. He did put a card back with 3PO, drew a card, and it looks like there goes 2 copies of... Now this is pod racing. 1 to the drain and 1 to the ping damage from the objective. Daniel looking for his other site. He does find it.
Yeah, good point, Matt, in the chat, wondering if Drew's not going to pull his system. Maybe that's why he didn't pull the battle plan. Just try to keep the force choke going.
That's a good point. And because I know at the end of the game that they just got done playing, Daniel had Zuckuss and Miss Hunter at the Polis Massa system. So maybe he's thinking about that.
Yeah, right now I think he's activating 13. Drew is giving up nothing.
You're not wrong there, Justin. Yes, Chewie V does get around Zuckuss. Daniel deploying the Jabba space cruiser to Coruscant, getting out Mithron Renudo from his deck. So now he will occupy for battle plan or battle order. So maybe we'll see Daniel put out battle order. But Daniel also giving Drew 2 more icons this turn, 1 from the location and another from him occupying Coruscant. There's U3PO going down to block that drain where Ray is.
A good early get for him.
Yeah. And he draws 1 card. Looks like he drew into a force push.
Another good one.
Yeah, that's really good. So good sequence of events for Daniel there.
I don't think he peaked at his destiny as he could have there.
Yeah, I don't think he did either. Yeah, I think Justin in the chat is asking the same thing, wondering why Daniel didn't peak with the objective, but still no battle plan or battle order on the table from either player. Again, with Daniel getting out E3PO, no need to put it out just yet.
And Drew's searching for something. I'm not sure with what.
If you search with the Skywalker hut for Shmi, yeah,
So he's probably just planning out his turn. I think he has a ton of cards in hand, but he activated a ton of force there, so he gets to plan out how he wants to proceed.
Okay,
He
there's
did.
Polis Mosses. A white border Polis Moss, which is looking kind of interesting next to that white border U3PO. That's one thing we've seen this tournament so far is a lot of white border cards, whether that is from Ryan Saracen or Mike Kessling. A lot of altered cards becoming white border cards. I don't know, Mike. Are you a fan of white border cards, or do you like black border cards?
I like black border cards, but I'm definitely not a fan of people turning black border cards into white border cards. I don't know why people. It's not my thing. All right, looks like Drew's still kind of just flipping through, thinking about what he wants to do. Maybe
And
verify.
CD's got a looks like he's got a Leia's resistance transport in there as well. So he's probably running the new Millennium Falcon V and that Leia resistance transport. And then James in the chat is bringing up the V kit. If you're looking to print out specific V cards, the easiest way to do those is to use the V kit. That can be found at the top of the main page at starwarsccg.org. Then it is, again, one of those nice tools that people use to get the cards they want into the decks that they want to play at all these majors. And it looks like Drew is just drawing a couple cards here. Interesting because I know that Daniel likes to play. He is playing Grimtosh in his Quiet Mining Colony. I don't know if he's playing it in his Age to Black Sun. So that could be something that Drew might want to consider. We do know that there is a new Thrown Back and Drop Shield. So those we haven't seen those yet, or haven't seen a lot of those this weekend.
Yeah, but as you said earlier, Dan, I think both of them played today, so he might know whether or not there's a Monarch.
Mm-hmm. And both of these players played the exact same decks that they played today, as players were not able to change decks between the initial Swiss rounds and then to the final confrontation. They were able to switch between day 1 and day 2, but again, they weren't able to change between the Swiss and the finals. Okay. Drew losing the Coruscant nightclub as well as the starting interrupt
And
to the drains. And there goes a Luke off the top to the ping damage, it looked like.
I don't know if he plays Unita, but that could actually be fortunate to have the Luke sitting there if he can get that Unita.
Mm-hmm.
Big force push here.
And it looks like the Throdos Cube Spectacular has started as well. We have some images on Slack. Slack is one of the easier communication websites that people have used to communicate with everybody on the Star Wars PC. You can communicate. It's a good way to find out deck. You can talk to other players about their deck stuff. You can talk to other players about tournaments, and you can talk to other players about just anything else that's going on in the world today. So if you want to, make sure you guys check out Slack as much as you can.
Decide pointing out in the chat that if Daniel had Emperor, he can use the Shadows ping to bury that Luke, and that's exactly what's happening here. I don't know if he maybe got the Emperor with that force push, but he's now in a position to make Drew have to lose another card.
And again, that's really good insight from our current world champion and 3-time world champion Justin Desai in the chat. And he loses a Yoda Master of the Force V off the top to that ping damage.
Can't tell if Daniel's drawing cards here.
Yeah, he has Force Pile in his hand at that point.
Oh, he did a peek with the objective.
Possibly putting back Force Lightning to peek at the Force Pile.
We'll see if he peeks during the battle phase here. It's so good to do that too, because you can see
Mhm.
exactly what you're going to activate the next turn with white and things you could potentially draw with shadows.
Okay. We
He
see
did
Daniel move the Vigo over and then draw. I like the move because with the Shizor's Bounty, that's going to protect the Emperor a little bit more.
yeah.
Drew using Excavate, Cod, and Weird Doom to go get Hojix. And it doesn't look like Daniel peaked with the objective in the battle phase, so he does
He's not.
not know what the top cards of his deck are. Yes, Shizor is a little exposed there.
Yeah, it feels like the kind of turn where you play two guys at
Mhm.
try to get one bountied, and who knows if he got a barrier.
Plays a resistance off of after playing Cold Feet, so yeah, Drew has two cards in his force pile. We just did see him draw a card off the bottom with Ray. And again, he is going to be activating quite a bit this turn. Yeah, it looks like he's getting 16.
He's a big hand. This is going to be a big turn for him.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Matt on keeping the cold feet. And the reason I think Matt is saying in the chat, if you have Jedi's resilience and say a character with a lightsaber, that would be really a really good play to get rid of the character. We know that he's playing Luke with lightsaber, so why not play Jedi's resilience? But again, these players just played, so Daniel might know that Drew is not playing with Jedi's resilience.
He's an old school sorry about the mess going after U3PO.
There's a sense, and even though he draws a 6, that's going to get it through.
Works.
So Daniel is going to have to lose 2 cards on top of the sense, and he loses an Emperor, another copy of sense, and then he loses the sense.
U3PO lives to fight another day.
And with U3PO living to fight another day, I can tell that Hayes Hunter is somewhere right now, muttering under his breath about undercover spies.
Now he's going for the Jedi love to get that Luke back.
Yeah.
Just like Justin thought was going to happen.
Got a few players in the chat saying that they don't love undercover spies. I kind of agree with it. So Drew using 4 Force to play Jedi Levitation. Justin did call it in the chat that maybe Daniel should have saved the sense for the Jedi Levitation.
U3PO has such an outsized impact on this game compared to what he did in the movie. Like it's
like
so
what was he in the movie like wasn't he only in the movie for like 4 seconds?
Yeah, but it's like every game of Star Wars, like U3PO comes up. Yeah, good point, Justin. On the Force loss, right? He lost 3 Force to not lose 2 to the drain.
And here we go. Looks like Millennium Falcon V with Chewie V coming down to Coruscant. Does Drew have another character? Yes, he has Solo coming down, so this is going to get him 2 Battle Destiny up there. No response from Daniel, so no barrier or anything.
Spending a little more too.
I wouldn't mind seeing Luke go down to the sewer. Okay, there's a draw their fire.
Good one.
And unfortunately, it's not a white border card.
Here's your battle. Zora Singh.
Yep. There's Greedo coming down as a react.
I'll give him 10 forfeit up there in addition to the ship.
Yep. Drew draws a 5 and a 1. The 1 goes back into his hand and he draws a 3.
Like a 3.
I believe it's a 3. Let me go on to Scomplink and look at the destiny of Leia's resistance transport. It is a destiny of 3, so that does crack the immunity.
Gonna kill Thrawn and Greedo.
Yeah, and what did Daniel draw? He drew a 3, so yeah,
Thra.
even with the bonus to attrition, that's not going to save or to crack the immunity on the Falcon. Looks like Daniel, did he take a card off the top of his lost pile?
Yeah, it looked like.
Okay, it's just Thrawn. And he puts it
Maybe-
back, so.
Okay.
Now, Daniel's in quite a little bit of a predicament with just the space cruiser up there. Like, he can't land it. He can't go over to Polis Massa, so he's
Yeah.
got to do something.
Absolutely. This might be time for him to use the sewer text or something, but can he not do that since
He can do it with Ray controlling the site.
can? Yeah, so maybe he needs to do that.
No, I think that. Are you sure, Jared?
I think he's right because
I think he's right too. Yes, because the light side has to control it for it to be a battleground. Thank you, Jared.
we need to get him to back up, right? Because is there battle
Yeah.
plan? No, battle plan's not on the table. We don't need to get him to back up.
Yeah. So with no agent and the light side not controlling it, yes, it is not a battleground system. I mean, I play the deck, and but this almost never comes into play whenever I play the deck. So Daniel does cause some point of pain damage with the objective, but I don't see him paying to drain for 1-1 this turn.
Well, he doesn't need to pay to drain. Still no battle plan on the table.
Oh, that's true.
But I don't know if they realize that.
I think Drew is about to get that out there. Oh, no, he gets a grabber. So, yeah, still no battle plan. No escape's going to get Thrawn back into Daniel's hand. And there's the blast door controls.
There's a pretty decent chance that the players are either forgetting the battle plan's on the table or that the system's not a battleground right now.
Yeah.
I would think it's one of those two going on.
There's a Fallion's Fist coming down.
Here comes
Thrawn
Thrawn.
hops onto the fist.
Can't see him initiating here, though. There's no way he's.
I mean, yeah, unless he's got, like, say, a Boba Fett bounty hunter or something that's going to get him some extra destiny. I agree. There's really no way that Daniel can battle into this. I mean, he could always, like the chat is saying, you could always check out your destiny to make sure that you have some good destiny and then battle.
Yeah.
But with the Falcon being immune to attrition less than 7 right now, I just don't see it.
Didn't peek again. Rough.
Yeah,
Shuttles the ego up. Now Emperor is exposed.
Emperor is exposed. Shizor is exposed. I mean, we still have the bounty in Daniel's hand, but that's it. He does draw into some characters, though. It looked like he drew into Mara Jade and another Aura Singh. So now the system is a battleground.
Drew's is still activating a lot. He's cycling with 3PO, drawing cards with Ray. Should have pretty good backup turn here, too.
In his activate phase, yeah. We know that he's going to have Anakin in the hand. Unfortunately, the saber looks like it's over on Rey.
Yep.
Anakin against the Emperor wouldn't be too bad because you can't Shizor's bounty into him without the Vigo there, and then you would retrieve one for the initiation of the battle with the epic event. You would retrieve one for draw their fire, and then if you cause the Emperor to go lost, you would retrieve another one.
Yep.
And there's another sorry. Oh, he's playing sorry about the mess with Solo. Draws a 6 and a 5, so U3PO is going to go lost.
Pushes through a drain of 2.
Yeah. There goes an Ellison Hinthra and Zuckus and Miss Hunter both to the lost pile. Getting rid of some low destiny there.
That's the rest of his space.
Yeah, and he's already used no escape, but withdraw their fire on the field. He could potentially retrieve one or two. Luke with lightsaber hitting the field. We have Justin to the side saying GG in the chat. I'm wondering why.
Well, he's still getting Anakin, and Justin's saying that if Anakin comes out of the system and you're getting 3 destinies, retrieving 2, withdraw their fire, and the Skywalker epic event there.
Yeah.
Just
nope, not Anakin, but Lando's Calrissian scoundrel for 5 force.
Still 3 destiny.
Yeah, still 3 destiny.
Yeah, and Justin's right on this one too. Like, if this doesn't get in control for Heisenberg pretty soon,
there's a 7 in there. It looks like with a relatively unprotected. I mean, this could get ugly really fast.
Yeah. Draws the card back with Rey. Takes the fight into the system. Draw the fire.
Daniel draws a 5. Again, the Falcon's going to be immune.
It looks like 3 4s for Drew there.
Yeah, it looks like they're all interrupts. So 3 4s, that's 12. So it looks like it's going to be the Vigo. I don't think the Falcon's immune to everything because Daniel's getting. Oh no, he's flipped. That's right. So all that's left is the Falling's Fist, and it is now no longer a battleground system.
We'll see if they figure this out for next turn.
Drew recirculates and pays the upkeep on Lando. And yeah, Daniel's in quite a little bit of predicament at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what he does here in space. He's just gonna bail on it.
Yeah, I agree with Jared in the chat that Drew should probably pull the battle plan shield before we get too in depth.
Yeah, and if we get to a point where they start draining for free and they shouldn't, we'll make someone on the ground know. But they haven't done it yet.
Well, I mean,
yeah. So they can drain for free all they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because like now Daniel's in his activate phase. Let's see if he realizes it. I mean, we saw him. I think we saw him drain last turn. And I like that Drew is playing with Take a Seat, Young Skywalker as his card to pull the Jedi Council Chamber. Okay, 5 force. There is Mara Jade with lightsaber. Takes a card with the shadows, so Drew's gonna have to lose 1. And we still know he's going to lose Hear Me Baby Hold Together. We know that Drew still has Anakin in his hand, so he's still sitting in a really good spot.
Daniel might be just kind of picking at some diff here, right? Getting a draw their fire, getting the ping damage with shadows. Take Luke off the table.
IG-88 with riot gun. So if he initiates here, he can. He's going to get 2 destiny. It is Luke, Rey, and Anakin's lightsaber on Rey.
It's only one destiny. I don't think IG adds any.
If he initiates, he does. Oh, no, you're. Oh, if he's alone, you're right.
Yeah. Or with a bounty hunter.
Yeah. But I mean, if you capture Luke, that would be really good.
Looks like a miss on the capture, if that was a capture draw.
And it looks like Drew lost a 7 to the draw their fires ping.
Picks up a card with Rey.
Swings, draws a 4 and a 4. It's going to hit IG-88. See who Mara Jade swings at. Draws a 2 and a 3. That's not going to hit Luke. But it is. He swings at Rey, and Drew has. I think I can handle myself to cancel one of those destinies.
Big card.
Really good card. Drew swings back at Mara Jade. Hits Mara Jade. Daniel, I think looking at the IG-88, realizing that he's only getting 1 destiny there. Yeah, Justin, that's a good point in the chat that Anakin's saber is freed up, so you just lose the Rey, and then you come down with Anakin with the saber against Palpatine. That would look really good for Drew. Daniel does draw a 6 for Battle Destiny. Drew draws a 3. I believe Daniel wins the fight, but more importantly, Luke sticks around.
Yep, and Drew doesn't lose any force there, and the Anakin saber is ready to live another battle here.
Yeah, and if he comes down with like Anakin against Palpatine right here, he could retrieve 3 force, and then on top of that, you just fight with Han up in space. Looks like Daniel retrieved.
How did he retrieve?
Unless he's fighting up in space.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah,
just
Drew loses Anakin.
suicide in space here.
Yeah. Surprised to see that Drew doesn't pay to retrieve. Oh no. Yeah, you can pay to retrieve him with Lando. And then we have a life force count. I think Drew is realizing he can pay to retrieve one with Lando. Yep. Gets Anakin back. 8. The following forfeits for 8. I mean, Drew still has his Walkling retrieval. So Drew has a lot he can do in this game. Drew draws a 5, looks like a 4, and he draws an Anakin. So keeping the Anakin, I like keeping the Anakin just so you don't take a card off of your life force.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yep, he draws a Jedi Levitation, and Daniel draws Cad Bane, who is a Destiny 2. I believe he's Destiny 4.
Yeah, he is
with quietly observing. So again, doesn't crack the immunity of the Falcon, but And the Pauline's fist goes away. So now that is a battleground system.
Yep, and he lost a force there, but yeah, Drew's in a really good spot here, and
Yeah.
now he can, pick some more fights with Draw Your Fire and Skywalker Saga, retrieve more. I think that Daniel might need to start thinking about drawing up here.
Yeah. Yep, there's a drain. He loses 2 5s off the top, loses a Cad Bane and IG-88 as well. Yeah, this is I mean, like we said, Daniel and Drew just played this matchup, and Daniel ended up winning. So this is a really good comeback for if you're Drew.
Absolutely.
Anakin going down in front with Luke. Rey coming back down.
Ray scavenges.
Yeah, I like the idea of coming down with big Anakin or Anakin Skywalker Jedi Knight against the Palpatine. Like, but at the same time, I mean, it looks like Daniel did have an Imperial barrier in his hand, so that would have protected the Palpatine for a turn.
Yeah, and Drew's pretty far ahead and not going to
Mm-hmm.
take any risks, it looks like. I think he's playing a mix, Jared. There's
And
R2.
Robbie, yeah, it looks like Robbie's saying something in the chat about Daniel saying to Robbie that he made a few big mistakes in this game. Carl, what was the big mistake that Daniel made yesterday? But R2 coming down with Anakin Saber. There's the Jedi's resilience. So Daniel just stacking up that sight there. Goes into his active phase, and yeah, he can't draw up at this point. He activates everything, but
Funny stuff in the chat.
yeah, I like that, Justin, not picking himself in fantasy. I mean, surprisingly, nobody picked Daniel in fantasy.
No one did? Wow. Don't think that'll happen again.
And Daniel checking out his destinies. He got P59, hidden weapons, big fat, and looks like a 5.
Yeah, Tarkin's bounty. Battle plan hits the table.
One mug Anakin. I like that. Yeah, the fact that Daniel's really not doing any damage to Drew at this point, and a lot of his good characters are in the loss pile.
And
And Drew's looking really good as he takes a sip of something out of a mug.
then what can Daniel actually do right now? There's a giant falcon and a giant stack of mains. Like, he can't fight
Yeah.
any of that. All he can do at this point would be to try to do some kind of spreading. He doesn't have any other ships that can go to Polis Massa.
Yeah.
Looks like he's
looks-
swapping the sewer.
Yeah, he's using the sewer to get back Mara Jade. Might see her make a suicide run into that stack at the sewer.
Drew has some force saved for like a walkling, things like that.
Yep, Mara Jade going down to the sewer. Joined with Django Fett. Django's going to get an extra destiny.
He might just use the shadows effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Drew loses a rebel leadership off the top of his deck.
I think that might have been from hand. It was hard to see though.
Yeah. Robbie confirms it was from the top of the deck.
Okay.
And again, make sure everybody sticks around after this. After this, we're going to have an all-new episode of Hollow Theater. Robbie Hendon will be joining us, as well as the winner of the event. We were going to do the Hollow Theater on Friday, but unfortunately, due to some technical issues we decided to move it to today. And then on Tuesday, make sure you tune into an all-new episode of Hollow Theater as the Champions League champion. Matthew Harrison Trainer will be joining me as we talk about his run in the Champions League and what it felt like to play some cards like Goonie Tay, Beggar, and Revolution in 2023 Star Wars CCG.
That sounds like that'll be a good interview.
So there's Probot going down to the Jedi Council chamber.
Force left.
He initiates. There's no aim high on the table, so he gets to retreat for free. Drew has to lose. He loses speak with the Jedi Council chamber.
And can battle for free. That's why he has the Force in the Force pile still. Like he's taking a swing.
Oh, it's a 5 and a 2. And no blaster deflection or anything yet from Drew. Drew swings back. I don't know who Drew or who Daniel swung at.
Me neither. Probably hit something.
Ray says he swung at Ray.
Okay.
There's another swing. And then the 5. Oh, the 5 got canceled. So Ray not hit again.
Did he have the female interrupt again?
No. Apparently, but he thought that Ray had the lightsaber.
Oh, okay. How did the 5 get canceled? That's what I was curious about.
I think I can hit it myself.
Got it.
Wow, I'm surprised you did. Why not swing at Luke?
Yeah, I don't know what Ray's doing. That's so scary that you got to swing at her.
Like, is it
Especially
just
when
to get...
you've seen the handle myself interrupt before, and he's got 3PO going.
Yeah. And then he draws a 3 and a 3 for Battle Destiny. Drew draws Vice Admiral Holdo. And draws a 6 with R2. So that's going to negate both of Daniel's Destiny draws.
So it looks like he's going to lose nothing in this battle at all.
Yeah.
Oof.
And Daniel loses the 2 characters that he deployed. So, wow, that's rough.
Yeah, and he had a kick there.
And he had a Gick in his own battle. That's really bad.
He just drew last card of his Force pile. Looks like he's about to pack this one in.
Drew is activating. Again, he's going to be draining for 3 and 2. No, he can't take a seat used because he already used Solo's game text to play Sorry About the Mess. But yeah, you got to go. I think you do have to go after the Probot here.
Yeah, I think if you've got something reasonable to come at it with, I mean,
Yeah.
you get fire retrieval and
Yep.
Seems worth
General Leia. That would do it.
She's
there's the barrier. Looks like Drew's thinking about grabbing that barrier. Yeah, why not? I agree, Carl. The idea of oh, Daniel's picking up R2. R2 does something with that barrier. I forget what it is. Once per game, you use one to shuffle an opponent's reserve deck or place an opponent's just play interrupt out of play. So instead of grabbing it, Dan or Drew just puts it out of play with Anik or R2V.
Pretty good. This R2 is a real good card.
Yeah.
Real good card.
And of course, it's a Destiny 6 card. So I think we all know who developed it. But Leia coming down to at least block the drain with the Probot. Pretty good.
Yeah, we know he has the Hoojix in hand from earlier, and what's the worst that can happen here.
Daniel looking at his cards as he activates. I think he's counting. Yeah, that's a good point, Justin. And then it looks like Matt Wadden, our esteemed designer of the fantasy contest, made a post. Let's see what he posted.
Texas Destiny's
Okay.
5, a 2, and a 3.
So right now we have our first and second are determined. Greg Shaw will be first or second. Actually, looks like Greg is going to be first. Bream is going to be second in the fantasy contest, and then it comes down to myself or Batmouse, and it actually depends on the finals. If Drew wins the finals, I take third. If Daniel wins, Batmouse gets third.
There you go. Looks like an Ellis hitting the table.
Yeah.
Looks like Shizor looking to Ellis over in front of Leia. Draws the 5. That was the one good Destiny they had left.
Yeah, and Drew's going to grab the Ellis.
Here comes Aura Singh as well. So Burna Hoojix gets a retrieval after all their fire.
I don't think Drew does have a shield pull, but I could be wrong.
I don't think he does either. I think both players have used all their shield pulls. No, I stand corrected. I think Daniel may have one left because he used Cold Feet earlier.
Yes.
He lost a few force there in that battle.
Yeah.
He must not have the Hoojix anymore or still be wanting to save it just in case things get worse. Placing the Watling out of play to get back the Leia so he can get that back with 3PO.
And then go battle something.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately for Drew, he doesn't have a...
Oh, he just had a leadership to get the Leia anyways.
Yeah. I was going to say, too bad for Drew that he doesn't have another shield pull. He could play Simple Tricks and Nonsense and just completely negate that drain at the Jedi Council Chamber.
I missed Drew's Destiny draw there. He didn't draw high enough to kill anything? Oh, no. Shizor. Got it.
Shizor says, you get no Destiny unless you have a 6 or higher.
You're still in a really commanding position here with his big drains, though, and
Yeah, he's draining for 5 still.
yep.
Looks like he's got maybe 6 left.
I think a little. Well, yeah, it's hard to tell. Here comes
Yeah,
Leia.
there's Leia and a Padme.
Pretty good. Daniel's looking for Force Lightning. No Force Lightning.
Yeah, he's got a little bit left.
Yeah. Couple decent destinies in there. I think I saw an Emperor and like an Udaguda or something.
Drew putting some cards back. I mean, Drew's going to be able to retrieve a bunch here if he fights.
He gets 3 retrieval on this one, right?
Yeah. Like, he gets the Brother Fire retrieval, he gets the Leia retrieval, and then he gets the Epic Event retrieval. And he makes Daniel lose a card.
Oh, that's amazing.
I got the reference there, Carl. Draws a 1. I think you do cancel it and redraw it. And just do it into a 5. And Daniel draws a 3. So, I mean, Padme goes lost, but that's 5, 9, 12 to 7. There goes the Emperor. Padme still has to go lost, though.
Yeah, I thought so. I don't know if I'm missing something.
Or the Jabba Space Cruiser is a what? 3 or 2?
It's a 2. I think it might be a 2. I'll look it up.
It's a 2, yeah. So Padme sticks around.
Looks like he's got 8 Force left, if I counted that right. Hits him with a drain of 3.
Uh, 8, and then there's that one that's to the left.
Well, and I think that's his hand.
Yeah. And he's in his draw phase, so I mean he paid to drain for the JCC, so but yeah, he's drawing up here. Like he's only got 3 force left, and Drew's about to do a lot. So there's game 1. So Drew is going to take game 1.
Looks like a decent amount of diff there. Let's see if we
Yeah,
can
that's it's I can't tell.
it's at least teens, maybe 20.
As soon as we get Robbie to let us know, we'll update it. And then I don't know if they're going to be taking a break or if they're going to go right into game 2. So we'll figure that out as well. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about that match. Like, what do you think? Like, what was your take on there?
I mean, I just thought that was a clinic for how to play mains against Black Sun there for Drew. His space was really, really good. He played, pretty patient, just drew a giant hand so that he could figure out the best avenue of attack, and he had the right kind of space hand. And if you can take over their system, you're gonna win. And then he just played really careful after that. From my perspective, I think there were a couple like sloppy plays from Daniel on the Black Sun side, like not peeking at the destinies and things like that. They're minor things, but to me, Black Sun is one of those decks that's all about all those little minor advantages that you can get and all those increments they add up. Especially when you're against a mains deck, and it's not a great matchup typically for Black Sun. So yeah, looks like 21 was the diff, is what people are saying in the chat. Tough. What do you think, Dan?
Sorry. So yeah, it looks like it was 21. Robbie went ahead and corrected everything on there. So going into this next match, CCT versus QMC, that's going to be a rough match for the QMC.
Yeah, and I don't know how QMC is going to win by 22. QMC is the kind of deck that wins in the tens or so. So, and as people were saying in the chat earlier, I think it's an advantage for CCT. So we'll see.